So we're actually moving away from the L3 line. We've previously highlighted the PEC-15, the UHP, and the INGOL. And now we're moving to the Wilcox laser. This is the Wilcox RAID X. And the Wilcox RAID X, I will say there's a couple different models. You can choose between green or red visible laser. And before I get into the IR functions, I will note that the green visible laser model does have a slightly brighter illuminator. But you're really not going to be able to pick it up on the LPMR, which is what we're out here filming with. So we're not going to demonstrate that, but we're just going to go through the different functionalities. But it is something that we wanted to point out because it is a cool little fun fact that most people don't realize. Filmed all these videos on the same night, so we've got a full moon, consistent lighting conditions, and just so we can get a good true comparison. But here we've got the first IR setting. This is low power IR laser pointer only. So 100 yards, berm, paper target, steel target. And the reason we go across multiple surfaces is, as you can see, the lasers, they react slightly different depending on what it is that you're shooting it at. Moving on to the next setting, which this is actually really cool, and one thing that the RAID is different than the L3 lasers, the low illuminator only setting is something that the RAID has, where the INGOL and the PEC-15, they have illuminator only settings, but it's a high power illuminator only setting. So that, as well as how the illuminator is, this is actually a flood, and I'll just click it on and off so you can see the difference that it makes. But this first berm, this is at 25 yards. So you can see that is the illuminator only on low, which one thing that is definitely a feature on the RAID that sets it apart from the L3 units is the adjustability of the output and the adjustability of the function. So what I mean by that is we've got another RAID right next to it, and we can actually program the laser to, instead of being a flood, which is this, on a low power, either the illuminator only or dual low, which we'll get to next. But we can also have it be just a dedicated throw. So you can see, again, it's a full moon, so not as bright as it usually is from it appears because of the photonic barriers that we're trying to push through with all the ambient lighting. But that is the low setting with quote unquote long range throw, and then that's the low setting on the flood. So moving to the next setting, the third setting, is you've got dual low. So we've got the flood and the low IR pointer. And again, you can change this, so you could have a dual low setting with the more of the throw pattern on the illuminator that is adjustable. So moving up next, this is full power laser. And one thing that's cool, again, is the adjustability. So I can take this and I can tone the power of this laser back. And one application where this comes in huge is the high power illuminator. Now, really, everybody's all like, oh, I want full power lasers, blah, blah, blah. But most people don't realize that the reason that full power lasers are nice is the strength of the illuminator. Like a night like tonight, where you've got to break through photonic barriers of a full moon or street lights or anything that's putting a lot of ambient light, and you want to use the full power illuminator, but you want to use the laser too, you can tone that back, which we'll show you in a second. So this is the full power illuminator, and just like all the other lasers, adjustable divergence. So that's the tightest it can go, 100 yards. That's 200 yards, 300 yards. And again, you can crank it up. So there is as bright as it can go, and it can be brought down. So this is consistently on the high setting. We're just changing the output of the illuminator. So then, like I was talking about before, what's nice about this is we've got a full power illuminator, but the laser is toned back. So we'll bring that up a little bit more so you guys can see it at its brightest setting. So that is the brightest it can be on the Illuminator and the laser. But like I was talking about, that still is going to bloom and it's going to be a little brighter than you want, especially at closer ranges. So there's 25, 50, and 100. But so like where I would put it, just tone back that laser a little bit, have it right there, and you've got a very usable laser to aim, but you've also got a full power illuminator, which really sets the rate apart. The functionality and the adjustability really gives you a nice opportunity to tone in your laser and customize it to what you're using, whether you're using a clip-on, whether you're in CQB mode and you're inside of a structure, or you're using it outside in bright or very dark lighting conditions. You can definitely tone that in, which is nice. So honestly, this makes the Raid one of our favorite lasers. The functionality of the Raid, it really does. It makes a difference. So that's dual high. Flip back through them. Illuminator only on high. That is low power laser. I'm sorry, this was full power laser. We just had it turned back. So brightest it can go, full power laser. Dual low with the flood. Flood only. And low power IR pointer only. And there's your Raid X.